pay off my mortgage early or should I invest the money? This is a question that someone asked me the other day on a call. And so I gave my typical, quick, kind of simple answer to help them answer this question. And the person said, you need to understand I'm an engineer. I want to see the numbers. Well, if you sympathize with the person on the other end of that call, this video is for you. We're going to help you answer the question, should you pay off your mortgage early or should you invest? In fact, we have a special gift for you that I'll tell you about in a minute. It's going to help you answer this question. But we're going to look at this question using a spreadsheet. We're going to use Right Capital, and we're going to use Income Labs to try to help you answer that question. But first, my name is Kevin Lum. I'm a certified financial planner, and this channel is dedicated to helping 1 million people retire without worry. So today, as I said, we have a gift for you. We are actually going to give you a download of the spreadsheet we use in this video. And it is an incredibly complex spreadsheet. And it actually has a formula that's going to help you answer yes or no about whether you should pay off your mortgage early based upon the inputs you put into it. But this video is unique for another reason, because today you're going to get to hear from a member of my team. He's both a CPA and a CFP, which is an unusual combination. And he's going to walk you through the spreadsheet he created that's going to help you answer the question about whether you should pay off your mortgage early. And so now I'm going to let you hear from Noah as he answers the question about whether you should pay off your mortgage early.
In every single call I have with a client and they have a mortgage, it almost always comes up the question, should I pay the mortgage off? Right? And the answer is always it depends. But first, my name's Noah. I'm not Kevin, and I'm new to the channel this week. I actually work for Kevin. I'm a CPA and a certified financial planner at Foundry Financial. And I've just been spending way too much time on this spreadsheet trying to figure out how do I present a mortgage payoff, simply. And it's not super simple to present it, but I'll do my best to try to share with you what I've come to and kind of the conclusions I've made. But essentially what I've done is I built 2 amortization tables, one with an extra payment and one without it, one with just a regular. So the left one has this extra payment column and the right one does. So I've also just kind of used default variables for the plan for this thing I created. And essentially we say we bought a $500,000 house. We're going to put 20% down, which leaves us with a loan amount of about $400,000. Actually $400,000, not about. The mortgage rate, we're going to say, is 3%. And the market return rate, because we have to think about what we're going to invest that money for, is going to be 7.5. We're going to look at inflation rate of 2.5%. And then we're just going to think about it in terms of paying an extra $1,000 per month. We're going to look at starting in the first period, starting, at the very beginning of that mortgage payment. So what I've done is I've made a way to see what's better. And I think you have to think about this very simply to do it. And I thought about it. So if I put this $1,000 towards the mortgage, I can pay it down quicker, right? I'm going to reduce the amount of interest I'll pay over the life of that loan. Total interest on the original payment is about $207,000. If we pay an extra $1,000 per month, that brings it down to about $101,000. Saving about $106,000 right here. That's that number 106. We'll see that again later on. Just remember that. And doing that will pay off the mortgage in 186 payments versus 360, right? We're thinking everything about months. So 360 payments are pretty typical. That's a 30-year mortgage, 12 payments a year, right? And then we also have to think about this in an inflation-adjusted manner. So this formula is what financial planners use. This is taking the difference between 1 plus the market rate of return divided by 1 plus the inflation rate minus 1. I know it's a little silly, but and you can't just subtract it. You have to do this formula to get the inflation adjusted return. So that's what we're going to be growing the investments by. So in this first scenario with the extra payment, the principal payment, if we don't do that extra principal payment, we can put that into, a taxable brokerage account, somewhere we can invest it. And it's going to grow by a small amount, that inflation adjusted return amount each month. And we're going to add $1,000 per month. We're going to do that for 186 periods. So we can scroll down, and I built the spreadsheet in a way that you can see exactly where, the payments stop, that extra principal stops, and the mortgage has been paid down. That's at period 187 in 2040. So we stop paying that extra amount into the taxable account here. It's going to continue growing. That's when we have to compare it to this amount here. This is the amount that you get from just having that free cash flow, right? You're not going to be having to pay that 1,686 per month towards your mortgage anymore. So let's say you can just invest that amount. We're looking at, the ending balance of the two. They're both going to be inflation adjusted return. And you can see down here, if we invested that extra $1,000 in the beginning, it would grow to about $563,452 here, compared to just investing that payment amount, the mortgage payment amount from periods 187 to 360. You're only going to have 422,000. So in this situation, it's better to invest that extra $1,000 than it is to pay it off here. And that's going to say, should I pay off my mortgage quicker? No, because we have a better return investing that cash than paying it off. So I built this spreadsheet, and everything is completely customizable, right? We can change the mortgage rate to 5% and see what that does. And it changes the calculation, right? It says, I should pay off the mortgage quicker now because paying it off is better. See, you can see that the blue is the investing that extra payment, where this is that extra payment towards the mortgage principal. You're not going to get it for 170, how many periods here? 181 periods. But once you do get it, it's going to grow a lot quicker, and you're going to outpace that mortgage, that extra investment eventually. Now, this is assuming 7.5% return, when in reality, returns could be bumpy. You could have years where it does a lot better than 7.5, and years where it does a lot worse. So it's not always perfect, but going back to 3%, just for the purposes of this, something to think about there. Now, I've also built it out in Right Capital. We've done the same thing. We built out a character, Hugh Mortgage. He is, how old is Hugh? He's 60 years old, lives in Florida, so no state tax, living to 95. He's got a net worth of about 1.6 because he has the investments of 1.5 in the taxable account. He's got a property of the $500,000 home and the loan payment, $400,000, with that same monthly payment for 30 years. Now, if we go to the debt tab in Right Capital, that $106,000 savings comes back, right? I said we talked about that again. That's that same number, 106, 163. Close enough. It's the same basic number there is what Right Capital thinks you're going to save. But it knows that, paying that off, you're going to have, benefits to the cash flow later on down the line, but it might not be as great as investing it. So I built it out here. Let's see what our investment return is. So we're looking at an 8.2%. So not apples to apples, but we're looking at a 60/40 portfolio. And in that, the regular mortgage payment here, it's better probability of success, 92% compared to paying off the mortgage, paying that extra $1,000. 92 versus 90. And you can see the median ending portfolios, 4.8 versus 4.16. So this kind of agrees with what we're saying in that spreadsheet, that, it's probably better to just continue doing that regular mortgage payment and invest that money there than it is to pay it off sooner. And I've also built this in Income Lab as well. I don't know if you've seen a lot of Kevin's videos, but we use Income Lab at the firm as well. A lot, mostly. It's just a retirement software. It's not really for the regular person who's in the accumulation phase, but once you're in that distribution phase, once you've retired, it's really great software to see what is that maximum amount I can spend. So we've looked at this in two ways. Here's the regular mortgage payment. We're going to look at it as, the gross amount versus the net amount, for gross versus net. Just we'll get it for gross for now. Keep in mind that it's 6.8, and we'll look at the other scenario I built. So we have 1.5 in the current balance, and I've looked at it a little bit different in Income Lab. I said, what if we just paid off the entire mortgage using that cash that we have in the brokerage account using the investments? What if we just paid it off all today? So I built another scenario here. I'll pay off mortgage, right? So we pay it off. We only have 1.1 in the account, but we don't have to pay any liability, and our spending capacity decreases. And the gross amount, so it was 6.8, and now it's 6.5. So these three softwares, and I guess you can call my spreadsheet a software as well, all agree that it's not beneficial to pay off that mortgage quicker. Now, this is going to change when you look at a higher mortgage rate, though. As soon as we start increasing that mortgage rate, it might make sense to pay it off sooner. There's a lot of other reasons to think about, should I pay it off or should I invest it? And one of the reasons you might want to pay off your mortgage quicker is that, the interest savings, the free up cash flow is huge, but peace of mind is a big one. we always talk about at the firm return on investment versus return on sleep. If it helps you sleep better by having the mortgage paid off, then it is definitely a reasonable decision to make to pay it off sooner. That's no, you don't always have to win the most dollars in the account is not always the best strategy, right? Did I achieve my goals and am I comfortable every day doing that? Another reason you might want to pay it off sooner is it's a known quantity of benefit. You know that you can pay off a 3% mortgage rate, but you don't always know that 7.5% market rate of return is gonna be there for you. And as we've seen recently, times like this can be really bumpy in the markets and it can make the decision to pay that off a little bit harder. One other reason is not to pay it off sooner is because you might spend that cash, right? You have built this big bucket of cash. You could spend it and it would be no benefit to you. You could buy, a Corvette or whatever it is that you buy and or a boat or, go watch Kevin's videos about worst things to buy in retirement. I think an RV was on there. That might not be beneficial for you, whereas paying off the mortgage is for savings. You have to do it. You're not going to get that money back anytime soon. Other reasons to pay off the mortgage or not to pay off the mortgage is that opportunity cost, right? We talked about investing that extra money. You could be better off investing that than you could be paying off the mortgage. You also lose some liquidity when you pay off the mortgage as well. If it's stuck in a house, you can't use it for that Corvette or for, paying for kids' college or whatever it is that might be important later on. Now, another big thing, and I didn't really put it in the spreadsheet, I think I talked about it, but is that you can't deduct the mortgage interest when you don't have a mortgage anymore. Now, most people are taking the standard deduction, but it might switch back with tax law that, the standard deduction could decrease by quite a bit and you might be itemizing again. And if that's the case, having a mortgage and having a mortgage interest payment being tax deductible could be very beneficial. Another reason maybe not to pay off the mortgage is you want to fund emergency funds first, right? Get those basic accounts in place so that you're going to be set up well for retirement. I know that's a lot in this video, and I hope I kept it entertaining and informative. If not, blame Kevin for putting me in the video this week. But please do the thing where you like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. And if you're interested in working with Foundry, be happy to talk to you, about things like this and other topics that are very relevant. But I think the mortgage payoff calculator, the mortgage payoff example in general, applies to just about anyone with a mortgage, and it's always on your mind. So if you like it, please let me know and get into the spreadsheet. I hope we have a link below to have access this and play with it. Try to break it. Tell me if I missed anything that you think you would keep in there. I really appreciate you guys watching it this week and staying till the end. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. As I promised, I have a special gift for you. The spreadsheet that Noah used in this video, we're going to make it so you can download it. You can use the QR code right here, or we'll put a link in the description and you can download the spreadsheet and you can play with it to your heart's desire. I hope it's helpful. As always, if you enjoy this content, if you do me a favor and like and subscribe, it really helps the algorithms know that this is content worth watching. And finally, if you were thinking about retiring, I put together a playlist of some videos that will help you as you make this decision.